Hi, this is Osman. I'm an energy healer, yoga and meditation teacher, and an entrepreneur. Be sure to visit my website, yogawellness786.com, for more information on our services that we offer, as well as to be able to get in contact with us. Remember, our treatments and therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So today I wanted to discuss the importance on spending time with or connecting with nature, right? So, there are so many reasons that one should connect with nature. For example, we are generally living in urbanized environments where large populations of people are, cramped together, and it leads to a lot of frustration and also a lot of pollution, and the air is not really conducive for good health, and there's a lot of exhaust fumes and a lot of lead in the soil, lead in the air. And when you step out into a natural environment, step out from the city, visit nature, go spend weekends hiking, go on hiking trails, right? Or listen, then you crowd out all the hustle and bustle of city life, right? Or go into a park and spend time looking at the trees, looking at the plants, looking at the flowers, the amazing colors of the flowers, the beauty of the flowers, the beauty of the chirping of birds. Sometimes you can't even get into a park, you can't just get up and just listen. You may hear a bird chirp. Nature is coming to us, even in the city environments, and you can hear birds chirp, right? And you hear the birds chirping and see that it's going about its life every day and doing everything, synchronously, and that life is still going on. That you are not alone. The bird is all alone there as well and busy chirping away, right? He's not crying that I'm alone, I'm depressed, I'm sad. And he's doing his work, he's going looking for its food, and he looks amazing and beautiful. When you start appreciating things beyond yourself, looking beyond your own life, when you start looking too much into your own self, you start micromanaging and looking at things microscopically, and small things going to look magnified, and this little problems going to look so big in your life, and maybe you think you have the biggest problems on the planet. But when you start looking at other creatures, spending time with nature, listening to the wind blowing, right, the pitter patter of the rain, looking at the cloud cover. Today is a sunny day, the sun is coming on time every day, right? On the time it's supposed to come, it comes. It said, okay, tomorrow's sunrise is at 6:13. 6:13 sunrise is there. It's not late, right? Never. So everything is working efficiently and in accordance with the system, and we learn from it, that everything, no matter what it's doing, its duty, right? It's following through. Does the sun have a bad day? How do we know? We don't understand. The sun, is it an energy? We are thinking we are the only entities because we understand ourselves and we can communicate with ourselves. Maybe the ants thinking they are the only intelligent beings, and we are like animals to them. Like how we see ants as animals, and they think they are maybe they think they are the most superior creature. Maybe we're not the most superior creature. Maybe the sun also has a bad day, right? But it's getting up for work every day, right? It's doing its rotation, it's doing its rounds, irrespective, right? It's on time, consistent, and synchronously moving, and and doing what it's supposed to be doing, year in, year out, decade in, decade out, for eons it's been doing it, right? So we start noticing these things and see what we can learn, and try to take our thought beyond ourselves. But the other reason from a yoga sciences point of view is that nature has got pure energy, and energies is going to influence us, right? So every person got his own aura and his own energy. So when they're thinking thoughts, whatever they're thinking is going out into the energy sphere, which is connected to every person, right? So you are connecting to those negative energies, because people generally are in the beta state. Generally, people are very stressed, they're very negative, they're not happy with life or something. There's more negativity than positivity in the general masses, right? What they're thinking. And also, the pollution environment and so forth, right? So all these negative things that you're imbibing, you need to be able to extract yourself away from it and to be able to connect with something that's different and calmer. Now, plants, trees, animals are not thinking negative thoughts and positive thoughts. They are living by instinct, right? So they are generally cool, calm, and collected, unless they're hunting you, right? And they're hungry. They'll only hunt you when you're hungry. So me coming from South Africa, we had opportunity to go on game drives, and we are in open vehicles. The first time I went, it's open vehicle going to look at lions. I said, are these people crazy? We are open. The lion can come and just take its next meal. They said, no, the lions are well fed and they will only hunt us when they're hungry. How do we know it's not hungry today? Right? And now, so no, we have a professional hunter with us. We are able to take, action. But I never see any weapon, and I never see anyone that looked like a professional hunter. I saw, a guide who didn't look very professional. She knew her job. She could talk very well and give us amazing stories. But I couldn't see that female guide being able to defend us from a hungry lion, right? But going into they didn't, of course, and then I got used to going on game drives, and it wasn't common, or I haven't heard of lions hunting the game drive vehicles, or the people going on game drives, right? Except those who are hunting it, of course, because the lion is one creature. When you go to hunt a lion and you shoot a lion and it's not a kill shot, be sure that lion is not running away like a gazelle or a buck or a deer. It's turning around and looking where that bullet came from, and it's charging, and you better drop it before it reaches you. And that's why when people go hunting, especially tourists, they go with two professional hunters, because if they just injure the lion and they go lion hunting, or they mistakenly injure the wrong animal, one of the big five animals, or even the buffalo, these creatures will turn around and charge you, right? And they'll have to drop it before it reaches you. And it's normally not a very long distance before it can reach you. So, visiting and looking and having these encounters and seeing how animals operate, we learn a lot, about it. Say, oh, you're strong like a lion, and you know what a lion is. Oh, this amazing bird. And this very morning, I was hearing this beautiful chirping at 3 a.m. in the morning, of a bird. I said, oh my God, how amazing it sounds, right? And it was really a good start to my day. And I felt so amazing and positive. And my day has been amazing so far, right? And I really enjoyed my day, every minute of my day so far. And it's now reaching, mid to late afternoon. And I'm still very content and happy. And this has happened from 3 a.m., right? How a chirping of a bird can change my life. If I didn't look out for it, so I didn't have to go out, leave my city, leave my home. From my home, I'm blind. I said, okay, I'm blind. I can't go on my own. I need someone to take me. I never find an excuse. I'm still listening. I listen to when it gets a bit windy, and I listen to how powerful the wind sounds. Not just ignoring it, right? So connecting with nature, you're connecting with the energy of nature, the energy of consistency, of power. The sun, I say, I like to get my sun, my sunlight every day, even on cloudy days. I mean, there's a bit of sun coming through the clouds as well, because it doesn't look night, it looks day, right? So I can absorb what I can, from the rays of the sun. And because it's very healthy and invigorating and good to spend at least 15 to 20 minutes a day, in the sun or outdoors, especially in the mornings around 9 and 10 in the morning. And after 10 a.m., it is when the sun is reaching the higher portions of the sky and the rays of the sun become more direct into the earth, the harmfulness of the ultraviolet rays become more imminently dangerous, for skin cancer and so forth. But enjoying the warmth and pleasantness of the sun, in the morning, and feeling, just sitting there in the sun, that I'm not doing any work or anything, for that few minutes, it feels so relaxed. I'm not meditating, I'm not doing yoga, I'm not doing any breath work or anything. I'm just sitting and enjoying the sun, connecting with the energy of the sun, connecting with the sun, right? So to speak. I didn't go sit there to connect with the sun. I just sat there to get the health benefit of having 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight. But I feel, because I'm just sitting there every day, it's becoming a habit, like it's a connection with the sun, right? Connecting with nature that way, right? So you increase your experience of life so much more by connecting with nature, different types of nature, the sun, the wind, the birds, and the barking of a dog in the distance, the cocking or the cock of the crow, the crow of the cock, sorry, the crow of the cock in the early morning, that is still crowing, in the urban. Who's got a a rooster that's busy, crowing in the morning hours, and it's amazing in an urbanized environment. And sometimes the heat. So another example of enjoying and connecting with nature was when I first went to Dubai, and it wasn't yet summer, right? It was still approaching summer. It was early November. It was around the 7th of November, 8th, 9th, 10th, around that, right, of November. And I felt it was like 33 degrees Celsius, and I felt extremely hot. I said, oh my God, how do you manage it? The heat is really so much. And people used to laugh. They said, this is, I mean, July is summer, right? Middle of summer. This is not so, it's approaching winter, it's almost winter. And you're struggling, what are you doing in summer, And then came summer. And before summer could come, and, people knew that I was afraid of, the heat. People used to play jokes with me, say, in summer, even in May, it gets so hot, you sweat so much. The boots of your shoe is filled with sweat. You have to open your shoe and pour the sweat out from your shoe. Of course, that's not the case. But that was these people mocking me, right? But when the heat did come, man, you're wearing 40, 50 degrees Celsius, right? At 33, I was feeling hot. What do you think I was feeling? I was feeling like I was getting fried, right? At those temperatures. Yes, we indoors mostly air conditioned, but you have to go outdoors for something, right? And you're experiencing that gush of hot air. And then I said, no, let me adapt. And I said, it feels like a sauna. And this is a free sauna. From that moment onwards, it never affected me negatively. Whenever I went into the heat, I said, it's a free sauna. I imagine myself, enjoying myself in a sauna, right? And relaxed, because you enjoy yourself, you're relaxed, and it's a pleasant feeling. Although it's making you sweat, but it's something you want to experience and so forth. So I just said, this is a free sauna. And of course I didn't want to, I'm not crazy to stay in the heat for long periods of time. But the body also adjusts and adapts, to the heat. And eventually I adapted, and it never bothered me. It only took me about 2 years, I think, to adjust to the heat. And after that, the many years that followed while I used to live there, I never found it, uncomfortable or miserable, right? And I felt good with it, and to this day I miss the heat, right? I said, the one thing I miss is the heat of Dubai. When I went into Turkey in winter, it was snowing, and of course it's not that cold. It just goes to -1 or -2 degrees Celsius. And but compared to what my body was used to, it felt extremely cold, and I missed that warmth, of that period. Then I started to enjoy the cold and the snow, of the coldness, and feeling. It was the first time for me to experience snow as an adult, right? The flakes of snow felt so soft, and it wasn't feeling very cold. Of course it was cold, and you're feeling, the snow is building up on your jacket shoulders, and you're rubbing the snow, you're brushing the snow off, and everything is white and so beautiful, connecting with nature and animals and plants and trees and the wind and the sun. It increases your experience of life, and increases the quality of your life, and you learn some things, and you learn to enjoy your life and appreciate it so much more and experience it so much more, in a positive light, and makes life more fulfilling. And I suppose, me being long in practice of yoga and meditation science, I'm always positive, always energized, and looking at the positive side, and able to understand and appreciate the nuances of life and nuances of incidents and everything, right? And appreciating the finer things and the little things. Even that time, it was just post-COVID when I approached Turkey, and it was snowing, and I hardly had any money, in my pocket, and I didn't know how I was going to survive beyond 2 or 3 days. And still, I enjoyed that experience, and I felt happy about it, and wasn't overly stressed. Right? I said, yes, I need to, take action, what I need to do, and so forth, to resolve some form of income to be able to survive. And of course, so I lived there, I had an amazing time for 3 years. A lot of people had negative experiences in many situations that I was in the same location, but I looked at it in a positive light, and that way I enhanced my experience. Was amazing, whereas someone else living in the same situation, his life was so miserable, right? So the importance of the connection with nature and so forth, you increase your life more than just yourself and the human society and all your goals and your stresses. You increase it through the environment, you increase it through the sunshine, the birds that are chirping, and so much more pleasant your life becomes. So I hope that helps you, and take care always.